Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into Colin's Corner, episode number 16. Please like, comment, subscribe before we get into the video. Do all that stuff. I greatly appreciate it. I've been tiring myself out saying that because like 90% of you are not subscribed that are watching. It's kind of crazy. So please just hit that subscribe button before I go insane. Okay? I just spent like a half hour trying to figure out why my video has been so grainy and trying to figure out settings and trying to figure out this and that because this camera is like 4 years old, so it should still be good. So it's good. It's good. It looks good. The thumbnails have been looking like trash recently, but hey, we're all here and we're doing well. And I wanted to talk to you guys today. I had some great stuff to talk about. One topic kind of escaped my mind, but the other topic is still fresh in my head. So here we are, all right? We have to quiet the voices in our own heads. We are our own worst enemy. We are our own harshest critic. Those are two things we hear all the time. We hear people say it. We hear, motivational speakers. We hear it in videos. We hear everybody says it. It is such a cliche. We are our own worst critic, but it's so true. We sit here and we criticize ourselves, and we take things that we do based upon stuff that's happened to us in our past. Maybe as a child, people say, "Oh, wasn't given enough love as a child." Maybe as a child, you went through something that told you that you weren't enough. Maybe as a child, you went through something that told you, as I grab my pillow, that told you that no matter what you do, you will not be successful. No matter what you do, you won't gain favor, you won't impress people, you won't get opportunities, you will just be run-of-the-mill, plain, cut and dry. You won't be able to succeed. You won't be able to achieve your goals. Maybe something in your childhood told you that. And that's where a lot of like self-doubt comes from, is stuff that happened in our past that, tells us that teaches us, that programs us to believe that we're not as good as we are, or that when we have success that we don't deserve it, or that our success isn't as big as it actually is for us. You might have went through that, whatever it is, and I'm sure you can come up with a situation. I'm sure you can come up with a scenario. We all have it in our head, wherever that came from, that we're not enough, that no matter what we do, we will never be enough, that no matter what we do, we will never succeed. No matter what we do, our successes are not good enough for anybody, for ourselves, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many people tell us we're good. It doesn't matter how many people tell us that they're proud of us, that they're happy for us, that we're doing great things. It doesn't matter. And I often fall into that trap because I have so many amazing people around me that I feel like I get way too much credit for what I do because I feel like I don't do enough. And that's the voice in my head. That's the voice in my head telling me, hey, you ain't shit. You're not good enough. You never will be. You're not doing this. You're not doing that. Look, you did this, but you didn't do that. Oh, you did this, but you didn't do that. Oh, but you could be better. Oh, but yeah, that was great. Great fucking video, but you're not shit. You're still not shit. You're not doing anything. Look, it didn't do this, or it didn't do that, or you didn't do this, or you didn't do that. That voice in your head is the most toxic voice you will ever have in your life, because we take the stuff that we say to ourselves more seriously than we take stuff that other people say to us. My own father, my own brother, my own best friend that I've known for 15 years. These people, they tell me, you're doing great things. I'm proud of you. You're doing this. You're doing that. Strangers, people that I barely know, telling me, sliding up my story, saying, great things about the whiteboards that I, post every morning, or, just my videos or stuff that I'm doing, people telling me their story. That's special. But I don't appreciate that enough because the own voice in my head tells me, you have to recreate that. you have to do it again. You're not good enough if you don't do it again. You're not good enough if if you don't replicate that success. If you're not this, if you're not that. Oh, but you only did it once. Oh, but everyone only does it once. Oh, but if you don't do this, if you don't do that, that voice in your head, and I'm sure you can relate to this, it drives you insane because you're like, I want to be happy. I want to be successful. I really want this. And everybody around me is maybe it isn't that way for you. And not everyone around me is telling me that I'm great all the time. And I'm sorry if it sounds like that, but my point is that I have such supportive people around me. Supportive people, not yes men that tell me everything I do is amazing, but I have such supportive people around me that are always there for me, that are not going to tell me you're not shit. Like in my head, I'm going to tell myself I'm not good enough. But those people that love me, my dad, my brother, my sister, my best friend, those people are never going to tell me I'm not shit. Those people are always going to be there to lift me up, and when I succeed, to tell me that is amazing, that's great. They're going to be there to celebrate with me in the moment. But in the moment when I do great stuff, it's like, oh, well, you know, do it again, replicate it, prove to yourself. I'm at a point right now where I'm trying to prove it to myself. I don't need to prove it to other people. I need to prove it to myself that I can do this. I need to prove it to myself that I can do that. And I feel like a lot of people can relate to that because there is something in us. There is something in a lot of people that are driven to do a certain thing, a lot of people that have goals, that their own worst critic is themselves. Like, I feel like that's so true. Like you have to guilt yourself into being successful. You have to guilt yourself into, doing hard things. I feel like sometimes that's the way it is. But you have to quiet those voices. You have to realize that no matter what you do, no matter what your voice in your head is saying about you, you know, it's easy to think you're a fraud. It's easy to think that, you can't replicate success, your own success. It's easy to think that you're not good enough, that it's easy to think all these terrible things about yourself. So you have to practice gratitude. You have to practice telling yourself, I am enough. I am a good person. I am trying my best. And that is all that anybody could ever ask of me, is to do my best, let alone myself. We set we set unrealistic, standards for ourselves in our heads. We tell ourselves, you have to do this and you have to do that and you have to do all these things. And if you don't do it, then it wasn't a productive day. Then you don't deserve success. Then you're not this. Then you're not that. You're not what you say you are. You're a fraud. We tell ourselves all these terrible things. Where did the self-love go? Where did the self-love go? We have to write it down. I don't care if it takes you 100 times to write it down on a piece of paper. I will be successful. I am good enough. I am worth it. I deserve success. I deserve love. I deserve great things. I deserve to be healthy. I deserve to be wealthy. I deserve to be loved by the people that I love, the people that love me. I deserve all the wonderful things that I have. But we get in this mindset again. It just creeps back in. It creeps back in. It tells us, no, you're not. We have to get in the habit of doing things that let us know that we are enough, that we are good enough, that it doesn't matter, because no matter, that voice is always going to be there. That voice is always going to be there. We have to let the voice of light, we have to let the voice of positivity and kindness and love and whatever's on that side, we have to let that, prevail. Because, and to bring this to religion, and I've done this a couple times now because, God kind of created us, so I feel like it's important. The devil does not want you to succeed. So you can equivalate. I think that is a word. Equivalate. You can equivalate that voice that's telling you all those terrible things. You can equate that to the devil, to Satan, because he doesn't want you to succeed. It would be to him, as long as you believe in God, it would be better off if you were dead. God wants you to succeed. God wants you to, have amazing things and to enjoy the blessings that he's given you. You have the forces of good and evil, and this is a recurring theme on this show. Is I'm always talking about the forces of good and evil and how they are always combating each other. God wants you to win. The devil doesn't want you to win. Which voice are you going to listen to? Because I know you're listening to this right now. You want to win. Listen to that positivity. Don't put yourself down. By putting yourself down, you're letting yourself down. Don't listen to that voice, because when you start listening to that voice, that's when you start getting lazy. That's when you start saying, oh, well, if I'm not good enough, then why should I even try? Don't listen to that voice, because it drags you down. It drags you down to the depths. It drags you down into the depths. It drags you into terrible places, because when you start listening to that voice, when you start listening to the negativity, when you start listening to all those things that telling you that you're not shit, when you start listening to all that, that's when you fall into depression. That's when you fall back into the habits and the terrible things that you tried so hard to pull yourself out of. That's when that happens. And you don't want that, because if you're watching this video, you've been at some point in your life where you thought you could never get out, but you did get out. And that's a kind of hint at the next video. Maybe, I don't know. My other idea just kind of popped back into my head here. So I'm gonna let that marinate with you. Okay? I said a lot there, and I kind of cut it off abruptly for some mystique purposes. But again, you can't let that voice win. You have to let the voice of reason win. And the voice of reason is positivity. And you might have to tell yourself some crazy things to get yourself to believe that you are enough, that you are worth it. You might have to just write it down 100 times. Seems like a crazy idea, but it works. Pound that idea into your head. I am enough. I deserve success. Blah, 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 blah. Write it down. Do it. Put something on your mirror. Like write a thing on a note card and put it on your mirror. So every time you look in the mirror, you are seeing success, you are seeing good things, you are seeing love and positivity. So every time you see yourself, right above you is all these positive things. Write that down. Do that. Try that. All right. Also, try subscribing to the channel. How does that sound for you? Try liking and commenting and following all our social media and doing all that great stuff. All right. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please, do all the stuff I just said. So I'll catch you on the next Colin'S Corner. Be nice to yourself. Be kind to yourself. And be nice and kind to the people around you. All right. I'll catch you in the next corner.